Hello apples and cherries and welcome to lesson 4 of your plastic pollution English this week. So just to recap, the focus for learning this week is to explore the impact of plastic in our oceans and start to make arguments for how we can make changes to reduce this plastic. Today's video will be focusing on how we can reduce plastic in our oceans. So by the end of the video, you will all be able to recognise that plastic in the ocean is dangerous. Some of you may also be able to explain some of the ways that we can reduce plastic in our oceans. And some of you may even be able to make a poster with top 5 tips on how to reduce plastic in our oceans. So here we have our vocabulary slide and I've taken away 3 of our definitions. So let's just go down to the 3 that we've got down here. We've got plastic is a material used to make objects. Durable is something that's very strong and long-lasting. And environment is the surroundings in which a person, animal or plant lives or is currently in. Now, pollution, what does that mean? I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to think, what does pollution mean? Amazing. Well done if you said pollution is the things in the environment which have harmful or poisonous effects. What about the word reduce? I'll give you a couple of seconds to think what that means. Excellent. Well done if you said to make something smaller. And a couple of seconds to think what the word ocean means. Fantastic. Well done if you said that an ocean is a large expanse of sea. So yesterday I showed you these pictures and these are quite worrying pictures of what our oceans currently look like. And what we are working towards is to get rid of this, is to stop this from happening or reduce it. And the question we will be thinking about today is how can we help? What can we do to help reduce plastic pollution in our oceans? So there's lots of different things that we can do, and they're only small things, but they make a huge difference. One of the biggest things that we can do is when we are finished with our plastic, we can recycle it. Instead of just popping it in the bin, which then gets picked up by the bin men and goes to a landfill, we can pop it in a recycling bin and then that will get taken to a centre that will then break down that plastic and reuse it for something else. Just make sure that when you are using some of your plastic, you may see this sign. And this sign means that not every single area in our country will be able to recycle that plastic. So just check before you put it in your recycling bin that it can actually go in there. The other thing that we can do is when we're walking around, some of our plastic may not be able to be recycled. And that's okay because it's not our fault that things are being made with plastic that can't be recycled. But what we can do is instead of just throwing it on the floor, which I know none of you would do in reception, we just need to make sure that it goes in a bin. If a bin is very full, then I would suggest that you pop it in a bag and you take it home with you and pop it in your bag, in your bin there. Because if the bin is really full and the wind comes along, then it might then end up knocking it out of the bin and put it on the floor and then littering. Okay? So if you cannot recycle your plastic, try to make sure it goes in a bin and it isn't littered on the floor. The other thing that we can do is to say no to single-use plastic. So there are some things that we use in our world that we can say, no, I'm not going to use that because it can only be used once. And one of those things is straws. So plastic straws, we use them in our cartons, we use them in our milk at school. And we can think about saying, no, I'm not going to use these straws because can only be used by one person and they can only be used once. So we can look at finding other ways of drinking that liquid. Thinking about that, we can buy water in a bottle, but actually we don't need to buy it in a plastic bottle that is only used once and thrown away. We can get a reusable bottle. So like all of your water bottles at school, you can use them again and again and again, and you just wash them. Another thing that we can do is when we go shopping, instead of buying a single-use plastic carrier bag, we can take our own. And some of them have got really funky designs on them. Not only does it save us using single-use plastic, but they tend to be a bit stronger, so we don't need to worry about the bags breaking. Another thing that we can do is we can eat a lot more fresh fruit. So when you buy fresh fruit, it does tend to come in a plastic bag, but you get lots of it in a plastic bag. When we eat our packets of crisps or our sweets or our chocolate bars, they come in single packaged things of plastic. So if we eat healthier, that's better for our body, but also we're using less plastic. That's a simple change that we can make. And another thing, which I know all of you in Apple and Cherries are very good at, is that we could join in and help pick up litter on the floor. So as long as we make sure that we wash our hands, because we don't want to get any germs from the dirt on the floor, but if we are walking somewhere and we've got a bag that we could put something in, we could pick up some of the rubbish there. Make sure you check with your adult that you are with though, okay? Because you don't want to get any germs. Right then, so today your task is to think about 5 top tips for reducing plastic in the ocean. We've come up with lots of different ideas today, and if we do reduce the plastic in the ocean, then I'm sure that, like this little man down here, the sea creatures will be very, very happy. Okay, thank you for listening to today's video, and I look forward to see you for the last lesson of the week tomorrow.